Welcome, everybody. This is the Lamb Talks. Today, I have the honor with Josh Ocasio. He has ran ads for the top agencies and managed over $16 million in ad spend from e-commerce to lead generation for service-based businesses. He's been featured in New York Weekly, LA Weekly, and many more certified online articles. Welcome to the Lamb Talks, Josh. Are you excited?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Today, we're going to start the interview with Josh Ocasio. Why do you believe in God?
I think that from the beginning of when I was raised, my parents always instilled to me that nothing is possible without God. And from very early, my parents planted a seed in my head that, you should always have faith in God and how you present everything to the world. So I think that, being raised in church and me making my own decision on why God is important to me is the reason why I choose to continue my faith with God.
Do you think if your parents didn't put you in the church, you would have gone to it on your own?
I think that I would have found something that would speak volumes to me, because I always believe in energy, and I know that energy is a real thing, especially with people. So I know that I wouldn't become atheist. I think that if I wasn't pointed in the direction, I would either be Muslim or I would be Christian. One of the two. But I know that I would have faith. I couldn't see myself as an atheist.
Why don't you think yourself as an atheist?
Because I think that with every religion comes morals.
Mm-hmm.
And every religion you have to follow a certain moral, and that builds your character.
Have you ever been in a scenario where something went against your morals in your business?
Yeah. I would say, I've had a lot of business experiences. When I worked at an agency, we were charging people that we weren't doing work for and that we weren't managing. We weren't even looking at what they were doing. So we were charging $3,000-$4,000 a month, and we weren't even focusing on the actual service.
Why?
Because no one cared. It wasn't the foundation of the company was not properly set up. So therefore, everything below that fell apart. So therefore, I don't believe in charging someone for work that that can't be done if you don't have the fulfillment for it yet, or if you don't have the foundation of your company and your employees to actually fulfill for that service.
Do you think quality is better than quantity?
Yeah, I do. I think that quality is more important, because all the clients that I currently have right now are still with me because of the quality of work that I do. And I think that if I were to scale my business really, really fast, that I wouldn't be able to keep up with the quantity of people and keep the quality that I still have today. Although right now I am scaling and my quality is falling apart little by little, but I am picking up by making sure I'm on top of everything.
How do you incorporate God in your business?
I incorporate God by understanding the lessons that come with business. So, for instance, I think that whenever I see how my failures and successes come, I think that I relate it back to God, and I'm just like, okay, there's either something that God wants me to learn from this, or there's something that He wants me to, either way, success or failure, He still wants you to learn from it. So I think that's how I incorporate it. I'm like, okay, I succeeded here, what did I learn? And what did God show me? And some instances is patience, some instances is to not walk by fear and walk by faith, and some instances is to, okay, you failed, you didn't get this client, but what is it that you learned from this experience? So I think that's how I incorporate God. I just pull the lessons and I just put everything back on God.
So basically you think everything happens for a reason?
Yes.
I agree. What do you do when a potential client shows no interest?
I get angry. I get really angry. And I think that that's because of my ego.
Ego is the greatest enemy.
I think that's because of my ego, because I'm just like, I did all this, I accomplished all this, why don't you trust me? Why don't you want to move forward? And that to me just pisses me off, because I'm just like, I work so hard, but these people don't know who I am. So therefore, they don't care at the end of the day.
Do you have an ego?
I do have an ego. But I know when to not have an ego.
I agree. I think you have to have an ego, but at the same time you should be humble, when you need to be.
Yes. And so there was this one time I was at a conference, And you know who Brandon Dawson is?
I don't.
Okay, this is Grant Cardone's partner.
Okay.
And I was like 20 at the time, and basically he was answering questions, and I raised my hand and I asked a question, and I said, if you could go back to when you were 20, what would you do? And then he said, okay, well, number one, the person right before you just asked that question. So he said, this is an important lesson for everyone here. He said, you need to pay attention and listen. And he embarrassed me in front of the entire room. And that, like, I think that changed my whole perspective on people and, like, my surroundings on whenever someone higher above is talking to me.
So what is, like, the main lesson you learned from that?
To listen, because if you're not listening, you're not paying attention. And if you're not listening, you're not understanding someone else's point, and your communication is not going to be on point either. So that's what I learned from that lesson. I was 20.
Well, I'm 20 now, so. Should you be humble at your first stages, or should you be like a lion, you know?
I'm not going to lie. I mean, when I first... I literally only came up, I think, like, 2 years ago, right? I started my business about 2 years ago now. And when I first made money, bro, I was bawling out. Like, I didn't know what money, like, I didn't know how to manage money. I didn't know, all I knew was, like, how to make money. And when I started making money, I wasn't humble. I really wasn't. I was flaunting. I was showing it off. I was like, look at me. I was trying to basically, like, impress everybody that didn't really care about me to begin with. So I think that it's important to be humble from the beginning. If I were to go back, I don't take back anything that I did. I think that everything that I did taught me things.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. So if I never went through what I went through in the beginning of my business, then how am I going to know that for future things?
You wouldn't be the man you are today if those things didn't happen.
Yeah. Like, one of the things that I did when I first made money
Let's hear it.
was I bought my mom a Louis Vuitton bag.
Nice.
For her birthday. And then I bought my sister a Prada bag. And I bought my grandmother a Louis Vuitton wallet. I was just spending money ridiculously. When I went to Dubai, we were there for 11 days, and I spent $12,000 in 11 days.
Damn.
So it's like, you have to be humble, because, like, you don't know if God is going to take something away from you in those moments. And when I was in Dubai, I actually lost $8,000 of clients. So I was like, okay, I'm balling out, and then towards the end of me leaving, I lose $8,000. I'm just kind of like upset. I'm like, what is going on? Why is it every time that I leave that something happens? But then I think that what God was trying to show me was that you want to act like you want to act big. All right, let me take something away and show you. So I learned a lot from the beginning to where I am now, and that's why I don't flaunt. I just, like,
humble.
Yeah, I just try to always be learning. Like, no matter if you're above or below me, because there are some old people that probably don't have a lot of money, but they have a lot of life experiences.
Wisdom.
Yeah. So how are you going to be open to that if you think you know everything?
I agree. What do you think is more important to you, your reputation or your integrity?
I'm going to say my reputation.
Why?
Because how are people going to know to work with me if my reputation from the past isn't good, per se? So, I mean, integrity also plays into it, I think, a little bit.
I think they both go hand in hand.
Yeah, I think they both go hand in hand, because your integrity goes into your reputation, and your integrity goes with reputation as well. So I think that automatically you're gonna have to show both if you want to grow and you want people to trust you. Like, people are not gonna trust you if you don't show either or, and the only way that you're gonna show that is because people will give you a testimonial for your business. So if you don't show that, like, you're not gonna grow.
Do you think being in a relationship, do you think it helps you, like, in your business, or do you think it, like, distracts you?
I think choosing the right woman
I agree.
is the main thing. I think that if you choose the wrong woman, she's going to drag you, and you're not going to know when to call it quits. I think that if you're trying to have a woman while you're trying to grow your business, you need to be very careful of who you choose. When I was in high school, I'll tell a story. When I was in high school, I was with this girl, and we both wanted different things. I didn't want to go to college.
Why?
I think that was a waste of time.
Why do you think college is a waste of time?
I got a 4.8 by barely
Dang.
doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, all right, well, this is kind of easy. And honestly, I was also outsourcing a lot of my work. But I learned that, back to what we were saying about the woman, like, we both wanted different things. So she wanted to go to college. I didn't want to go to college. And it was going to take a toll on our relationship because she didn't believe in the things that I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really care about what she was doing. I just wanted someone that believed in me.
Supports you.
Yeah. So you have to make a decision, and I made a really hard decision because I was a 2-year relationship, and I broke it off. And I was like, I'm just going to go hard as hell for the next 3 years. And if I do find a woman along the way, great. If I don't really care. I'm just going to focus, and taking away that energy of not having someone like that doesn't support you is really good for you mentally, because all you need is your own self-belief. And if you really are trying to mend a relationship with someone and they don't have that same energy, then you just gotta get them out fast.
Yeah. How did you know what you wanted to do? Like, you do Facebook ads. What made you get to that point?
Okay. This is an interesting story. So, when I was in college, I tried a lot of different things. The first thing that I did was that I made music videos because my uncle is a producer for Daddy Yankee, Yandel, all these big Hispanic artists. And I was like, okay, well, if I make music videos with just myself, and I show him that I have that skill, maybe I can become a music director in Puerto Rico and make music videos. That didn't work out. So I was like, okay. And then I went to TikTok, and then I started doing TikTok, trying to get big, trying to see if I can get attention. And then one day I make this video with my boy Josh, and we made a video where we were talking to girls on OME TV, just flirting, and that video went viral.
Nice.
It got like 1.3 million views.
Damn.
Kept doing that. We got like probably close to 500 million views just from talking to girls online. And then I realized that, okay, well, 1, I don't want to be known for this. And 2, I think that there's a better way that I can make money if I know how to get attention towards me. So then I stumbled across Facebook ads. And I'm like, okay, Facebook ads, videos, people making money. I think I could do this. So I bought a $2,000 course from this guy named Kevin David, and now he's a scammer. All case for $15 million. And I bought this course for $2,000, and me and my friend, we both were like, yo, this is like a great opportunity. We can make a lot of money. And I bought the course, and then I learned. And then I started seeing ads from Jason Wojo.
Who is Jason Wojo for the people who don't know?
He's a big advertiser online. He runs a lot of companies, and he has a good name for himself in the advertising space. So I saw him, I started going to his events, and then I wanted to just learn from what he's doing and running ads. So I learned about ads, I learned about that, and then I was like, okay, this could probably work. So while I was in this transition, my parents wanted me to go back to college because they were like, you're not going to do anything with your life. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I can figure something out. So my mom and I negotiated a deal where she gave me 6 months to prove to her that I could do something with my life. At the time, my parents had a Shopify store. On the 6-month trial of proving to my mom that I could do something outside of college, I made her Shopify store $22,000 in 1 month.
Damn.
On the 6th month. So after that, my mom just let me do whatever I want to do. Figure it out.
You proved yourself.
Yeah. So that's how I got into this whole space and growing myself. And then eventually one opportunity led to another, and I started growing and evolving in my craft.
What inspired you to do that?
Money. I mean, I think that I just enjoyed making videos, to be honest with you. And I wanted to help people to know how to make videos in order to grow online. So I wouldn't say it was just money. I think that it was also the fact of just being able to help people, and then in return being rewarded with money.
Yeah.
So I think that that's what I really mean. It's not just about money.
Yeah, not money.
I think that like seeing people actually happy that like their businesses is growing, and that the result of me doing the work is what made them feel that way, is what makes me feel good about myself.
So it's not the money, it's like helping people.
Yeah, I would say helping people.
If you have a kid, are you going to put him through the school system? It's a tough one.
I don't think I would.
Why?
I think that high school and middle school were the most miserable times of my life. I think that there's an echelon in high school and middle school that's made up because there's popular kids and then there's the nerds and then the weird kids, and you have all these different groups, and I think that's all pointless because, like, speaking from what I see today, a lot of people that I knew that were popular are like in the military.
Mm-hmm.
They're working at like Popeyes, or they're working at Chick-fil-A, or they're just getting out of college.
So now the roles are kind of reversed.
Yeah, like these people, like they have no real life experience until after college. Then that's when everything like hits them. So I don't think that the educational system, I would ever put my kids through it. I think that's a waste of time. The only things I would teach my kids would be finances, stocks, real estate,
How to manage money.
ads, building a company, how to manage money. Yeah, all those things that are actually important for the real world. Everything in school does not teach you how to be prepared for the things in the real world. People are really struggling to pay their $1,800 a month rents right now that are my age or even older.
Student loans.
Student loans, $100,000 for communications. You're studying communications and you have $100,000 debt. What are you studying?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think that it's... the only thing that I think that if my kids wanted to go to school for was something that actually serves the world, being a doctor, being a lawyer, being any of those things that actually help people to be better, like, financially or health-wise, or something that just benefits them that you actually need a degree for. You don't need
a degree for business.
You don't need a degree for business. Like, most of the people that I know that are super, super wealthy, way above me, making $3 million a month, never went to college. They all just went to mentors that did more things than them, and then they spent money to invest into themselves, which is way better than college in my experience.
What are the biggest strategies that you found most effective during your experience?
For, like, just running ads?
Yeah.
I would say that... Okay, well, this is actually a good one. So, one of my clients, he has a company in Chicago, and one of the things that we did that changed his business from doing $35,000 a month to $35,000 a week was just literally him incorporating his personality into the ad. So, this industry was like the kitchen renovation space, and a lot of people in that space online on Facebook, what they do is they market their before and after images only. So I told Mike his cost per lead was like $80, $90. And I was like, why don't you just showcase people inside of a video the work that you've done, and we use that as an ad instead? It makes a lot more sense than just showing before and after, because your competitors can just spend more and blow you out of the water. And then he was like, okay. He made one ad. His cost per lead went down to like $27. And his cost per project was $12,000. So you're getting people to opt in for $27 to charge them $12,000. So his like whole business just like flipped when we did that, and I think that was like the most beneficial thing. It was like just incorporating your personality into the actual ad. Same thing with e-commerce. Like, you want to make sure that your brand actually speaks through a video and not just like showcasing like the product and saying like, look how good it is, because people don't really care about that. People care about the hype of the actual product or the service. And if you can connect people with your services by how you speak, then I think that you're going to make a lot more money.
What lessons have you learned from e-commerce?
That you need creatives, which creatives are ads. So like videos and images. And if you aren't making more of those for your brand, then you can't expect your ads to go up in return. They're just going to die down after a certain amount of time, especially if you're spending $1,500 to $2,000 a day on ads, or if you're spending $500 a day. Because most people will be like, okay, I have these 3 ads, done. I'm just going to let it run for like 4 months and leave it alone. When, in fact, you need like 10 to 20, like a month to test. Keep testing.
Testing the algorithm?
Testing the algorithm and testing more different angles. It's not even about just making videos. It's about getting different angles for your brand. And people have this whole misconception of like, oh, I'll just make one video and let it run for a year. If you do that, you're not going to make as much money as you want, because that's laziness.
Yeah.
And especially with brands that make a lot of content for their e-commerce stuff, like, they make content and then when they start running ads, just stop. And I'm just like, why did you stop? Like, you think that money is just going to like you dumping money into ad spend is going to replace the outcome of your revenue to grow? And the same thing for online startups, these businesses. They want to just run. They just want to run one ad for like 6 months, and then they wonder why their cost per lead increases. You should be testing your ads. You should be testing different ads every week. Every week you should be testing new ads. But if you're lazy and you just want to get complacent with the cost per lead, then you know what? Your company's going to see the results of that.
What do you think is more important, discipline or motivation?
I would say discipline. Like, there are days where I feel super motivated, and there are days where I don't want to do anything. I think that's normal for everybody. You just wake up and you're like, I think from a guy's perspective, like, you just want to wake up and you don't want to play video games, you don't want to work. And I think that when you go into the mindset with discipline, you're like, okay, there's work that needs to be done regardless of how I feel. If I want to accomplish things that I want to accomplish, this is what needs to be done.
The person who goes to the gym, regardless of how you feel, beats the person who goes to the gym when they don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Do you think money buys happiness?
I think that's a factor to happiness.
I mean, money's like freedom, you know?
I think that freedom makes you happy and money equals freedom.
I agree
So
with that.
I think that they go hand in hand with each other. I don't think that it necessarily buys happiness.
It buys the freedom.
It just buys the freedom of time. Like, all money is... And I was actually talking to... I was talking to my girl about this. And I was like, what is money to you? That's what I told her. I was like, what is money to you? And she's like, oh, you could buy things with it. And I was like, okay, let's actually think about this for a second.
Yeah.
Money is just the time and energy of other people. If you just really think about that, like, money is, that's all money is. It's just the time and energy of other people. If people want to pay me, they're paying me for my time and energy to grow their business. If I'm paying someone to get me sales closers, I'm paying them for their time and energy to find me sales closers. What does McDonald's do? What does Chick-fil-A do? They all pay people
For their time.
for their time. That's all money is. And then same thing with like cars and Louis Vuitton. Like, you're just paying for people's time and energy to give you something. Like, that's all it is. It's just a product that's being made.
Do you think social media is good or bad?
Depends on how you use it.
I agree.
I think that a lot of people just watch other people.
Scroll all day long.
Yeah. Like, if you look at your watch time, I bet it's over... You're spending at least 2 days on social media a week in combined.
Wasting your time.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of this app called Opal?
I actually have.
You have?
Uh-huh.
I downloaded it.
Is that it makes you watch your face when you... Is it that one?
No. So Opal, what Opal is it's an app that blocks all your apps that distract you. And you can't get into your apps until the time that you set that you can actually access social media. So I downloaded that because whenever I'm working and I want to go on social media to check out my client stuff or other people are doing, I get distracted by other shit. Like, there's just a lot of content online. I'm just like, my mind kind of wanders off. So I downloaded this app called Opal, and now it makes me focus on exactly what I need to do. And then I only go on social media if I'm looking at something that's beneficial to me or if I'm posting something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't go on TikTok anymore because TikTok just destroys you, like, mentally. Have you ever watched someone on TikTok? They're just their brains are just gone. Like, they're
just mindlessly scrolling.
Like, they're just swiping through like these apps, and they're just like, I was on a date one time, and there's a family right next to me. Parents are both on their phones. Kids, headphones, iPad. Not even like, no real world experience coming from what they're actually doing.
All
like
fake online stuff.
Yeah, like you're just like, your mind is just gone when you're on these apps because the social media apps are, I think what they're designed to do is take your attention and simmer it down so you can't actually focus on your goals and what you need to actually do.
To distract us.
Yes. So I think that's just based on how you use it. Like, right now, what we're doing, I think it's beneficial because we're going to put this and clip it and put it on social media for people to benefit so they can use it, the advice that we give inside of their life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How do you maintain your faith in tough business times?
Honestly, I just like kind of go for a drive and I'll sit somewhere where I can watch the sunset and I'll just pray.
Kind of get back into reality.
Yeah, I'll just reset. Like, I think that's the best way, just to reset whenever you're going through these times and understanding that, you know what, today was meant to be the way it was, and I learned something from this, and tomorrow I'm better because of it.
Everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason. So I think that that's like the best thing that you can learn from the tough times. So,
Do you ever give back, whether that's money or mentorship?
I actually do. I think that I do the I give back to my family a lot. And I think that makes me more happy than giving back to myself. I think that when I buy myself things, like I I don't feel good about myself when I do that.
It feels better to give than get.
Yeah, like I like seeing people's reactions.
Mm.
Like I don't if I buy something for myself, like let's say like I buy a Rolex for myself, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel happy doing that for myself. I'd feel more happy buying it like for my dad, for instance.
Yeah.
And I think that like you can give back to your family, and I sometimes give back to like homeless people. Like there's a video with me and Akko, and there was a homeless person in Daytona Beach, and we gave him like $100. But like that $100 to him will buy him like who knows like a day and a half worth of food if he really uses it well without buying alcohol. And I like to do mentorships. So like there's a lot of people that are like, hey, I can't afford you, but can you at least help me and show me what to do? And sometimes I'll just do it out of good faith because I'm just like, you know what? I was in your position once where I couldn't do that as well, and I couldn't afford to pay I couldn't afford to pay someone for their mentorship, and I kind of felt like I was at a loss. So I understand, and that makes me feel happy just doing that. So the only thing that I don't like is whenever I give mentorship advice and then someone
People don't use it. Yeah.
They don't do it.
It's just wasting your time.
Yeah, and I think that's because of arrogance. Like I don't think that people are smart. They're just arrogant or lazy.
We said at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's the only two reasons why people really don't grow.
What made you start your own business?
What made me start my own business is that I didn't want to have a limit on how much I could make. So when I was working for other people, I was told that, oh, you can have a raise when you do this. When you do X, you can have a raise. And I didn't like that. I don't ever like being told what to do. I like to have a degree of freedom and having the choice of if I want to make more money, I can make more money. If I want to make less money, I have that choice as well.
So obviously, now you tell other people what to do.
Yeah. But I understand the position that I was in. I wouldn't want to make anyone else feel like that. So for instance, like my cousin works for me, and what I do is like I'm like, okay, you want to get to here? Okay, show me what value you have that makes you worth X amount. And then if he does that, then I'm like, okay, then we go from here. Or I'll give him some tasks to do if he does it consistently over the course of a period of time. Then I'll just be like, okay, you deserve that.
How did you know what you wanted to do?
I knew what I wanted to do by trying a lot of different things. I think that you don't know what you want to do if you don't try a lot of different things. Like, for instance, what did I try? I tried, like, painting, I tried driving, I tried the whole biology, health science aspect of things. I tried that. I was mowing people's lawns for money. I was power washing for money. I started an Amazon business where I was creating t-shirts online.
Cool.
And I was trying that. Didn't really like that. I just tried a bunch of different things. And I did this all while I was in high school. And people look at me that I went to school with, and they think like I had like some magic pill. The only difference from me and them is that I was willing to try things, and I wasn't smoking weed every day with the kids that were so-called popular that wanted to do all the bullshit.
Who's popular now?
Who's popular now? You're in the military now.
Yeah.
You're doing this now. No one pays attention to you anymore. The only people that actually pay attention to you is the closest 5 people that you actually interact with, because you don't have a lot of friends after high school. And if you do, well, good. That's great. But if you're having, like, I don't have friends. I really don't have any friends from high school. The only friends I really have is like probably like 5 people. I don't talk to anybody else. Why? Because they're a waste of my time.
Mm-hmm.
And now I value time over having meaningless friendships that don't benefit me. Oh, you want to go, like, what are we going to do? If we're not talking about money, well, what are we doing? And And I like used to have these friends that are like, oh, money's not everything. Like, let's go out to the club. Let's go party. I fucking hate clubs.
Me too.
I think that they're a waste of time. Every time I go there, I just see a bunch of idiots dancing, a bunch of girls getting drunk and getting taken advantage of. I see a lot of guys that are broke using their last dollar. Let me actually tell you a story. I went to 11. You know what 11 is? It's a strip club in Miami. Okay? I went to 11, and I went for my boy's birthday. And when I was there, there was a guy at the ATM he was taking out money to get a dance from one of these girls, right? He had only $816.36 in his account. He took out his last $800 and gave it to the girl. I watched it.
Damn.
I watched him drain his account to give it to a stripper. And that to me spoke volumes about like how desperate people are because they don't have anything else of significance going on in their life.
Lust over love.
Yeah. And like people don't value like that their time is important. I was only at that club because I was celebrating something. I wasn't there just for pleasure. Like I don't do things. I don't celebrate myself if I don't feel like I earned it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't believe in that. They're like, "Oh, I deserve to be happy." You don't deserve to be happy if you haven't done anything.
Like nothing.
Yeah. You haven't accomplished it. Why do you deserve to go out and have fun? I don't deserve to go out and have fun if I haven't accomplished anything. And most of the times, I've only been to the club this year once, and I hated it.
Yeah.
And I only went because of the girl that I'm currently dating. That is it. But I hated it. I think that's stupid, and I just don't like the energy that it gives off.
It's the devil's playground.
Yeah.
I heard a story where, like, it was like it's some story somebody told me. And basically what happened was there was like a saint or something who could see demons. And so he went to a club and he basically like looked at the club. You would think there's a lot of demons there. No demons at the club. Why? Because basically all the demons are at the church. Because the church, what's the whole reason of the church? To get people to the club. Why are demons going to go to the club when basically like they don't need to? Everyone's already doing the devil's work there. So they go to the church because they're trying to get them to the physical club.
Yeah. And I think that clubs are a waste of time because what happens? You get super drunk, then you wake up the next day and
you don't remember anything.
You don't remember anything. You feel like shit. And now you wasted 48 hours of your time trying to recover when you could have just taken a little drink and then the next day put full force energy into something that actually matters.
Something productive.
Something productive. So when I see all these people that are like, oh, I'm not getting my way, I'm not growing, I'm just staying stagnant and I'm staying content with where I am, I just look at them and I don't feel sorry for these people.
The comfort zone.
Yeah, the comfort zone. And that's why it's important to have people that actually talk about the things that you want to achieve. If all you're talking about is money, then what are you going to bring to you? Money.
Yeah.
Like you're not, and there are people that have like pointless conversations. I'm not saying that like you can't talk about other things. I'm just saying that like if you're trying to achieve something, then the people that are your friends are going to be a reflection of who you are. So that's why I limit myself to things that I hear. I limit myself to the people that I surround myself with. I limit myself to a lot of things because I'm only interested in one thing. I'm interested in achieving more, getting more money, and accomplishing the things I want to accomplish so that my future family doesn't have to go through the shit that I went through. That's it. And if you're not about that, then get the fuck out of here.
Literally. Why is self-control important?
Self-control? Because self-control is that you're self-aware. And if you have self-control and you're self-aware, then you can point yourself in directions where other people can't. If you don't have self-control and you're not self-aware, then how are you ever going to be able to want to be the things that you want to be? So let's say like I'm stuck at a job, right? And I'm aware of my habits outside of my job, but I don't do anything about it. That's not having self-control. Like if you are saying like, hey, I want to accomplish being able to buy a house, but then every weekend you're going out and you're buying alcohol or things that you can't afford, or going on dates and going on trips that you can't afford, and you're not self-aware and having self-control of how you spend your money, then like you're not going to move in any direction that you want to go in. What's the point of trying to save money when you know that you're just going to splurge and buy shit that you don't need.
Just waste your money at that point.
Yeah, like I see a lot of people, especially at Louis Vuitton, and I don't know these people's circumstances. I don't know. But what I do know is how they carry themselves and how they speak and what they're saying in conversations. I was in a waiting line with my mom at Louis Vuitton when I was going to buy a bag. And there was this girl in front of me, and she was like, yeah, I saved up $3,000 from my job working at JCPenney so I could buy a bag. I'm like, okay, like, what's the outcome after that? You achieved the bag, now what? Now you get to wear it?
Mm.
Like, well, you could take that three grand, put it into like an index stock, and then have like 3 to 5% returns on that money, which is nothing with $3,000. But at least you're accumulating something instead of just dumping it into a bag that's gonna depreciate. Like, people don't pay attention and have self control of how they of the positions they put themselves in.
Goes back to the ego.
Goes back to ego. Like, you want outer acceptance from other people, and I don't really care about that anymore.
Chasing like validation.
Yeah, I don't like. I only want validation from my parents. And my parents, like, they said that, like, oh, like, we like accept you now, whatever. But like, in the beginning, like, they didn't respect me.
You had to prove yourself.
Yeah, they didn't respect me because I had nothing going on in my life. So they just wanted the best for me, which was, at the time, they thought was college. So, like, that's why people are like, oh, like, my parents are so hard on me. They don't believe that I can achieve this. Well, you're not showing them that you can do anything.
You're not proving yourself to them.
Yeah, you're not proving anything to them. You're just surrounding yourself with dumbasses and talking to people that they think that are bad for you, and therefore they're not going to believe in you.
What are some of the biggest challenges you face, and how did you overcome them?
Some of the biggest challenges was when I had to learn how to leverage money for my own business, and I didn't know how to grow my business further with the money that I had because I was so used to spending it on frivolous things. So I had to take a different approach from spending money on things that didn't help with anything to spending it on things that would grow my business. So, for instance, like investing money into ads. Now I'm spending a lot of money on ads, and I'm figuring out things, regardless if I'm making money back or if I'm not making money, and figuring out how to grow things further. So I think that, like, some of the challenges are just coming with, like, money management, because I'm not used to, like, having money. And I think that when you do have money, you have to learn, like, okay, like, I can do this, but I can't do that. And being okay, like, with taking a step back and understanding that, you can't do certain things right now, especially if you do have money. So, for instance, like, if there's a trip coming up with your friends, and it costs $5,000 for you to take this trip, could you? Yeah. and it takes $5,000 to go on that trip, but you can't spend the $5,000 when you should be investing that $5,000 into your business. Then you have to choose what's more important in order to grow, and that's some of the challenges. It's like, you have this money, but you need to position it right. And if you're not positioning it right from the very beginning, then your foundation as you grow is going to suck. So, like, these are a lot of lessons that I think that are really important, but some people have different relationships with money. So,
what's more important to you, your money or your status?
I would say my money.
Why?
I don't care about status, because I think that status reflects on, like, materialistic things. And because you can have, there's actually a guy in this building. His name is JJ.
That just hit me.
There's this guy in this building, and he has hundreds of millions of dollars, and he drives a Mercedes that's used. He paid $40,000 for the car. And some of the things that he talks to me about is like, look, like, yeah, you have a nice car, but you shouldn't buy a Lamborghini.
Why? Why shouldn't you buy a Lamborghini?
He said that you shouldn't buy a Lamborghini until you have your assets set up correctly in order to afford a Lamborghini.
Until you can afford one, you shouldn't buy one.
He said just because you have the money doesn't mean you should spend it on things that aren't important. So I think that money is more important than status, because money can take you further than what people from an outside perspective see on you, which I think is what status is correlated to.
Do you care if people hate you?
No.
Why?
Because hate only comes from below, it doesn't come from above.
Jealousy?
Yeah. So if someone envies me, then that means that I'm doing something right, and you can't learn anything from being envious. I'm not envious of anyone that makes way more money than me. If anything, I'm like, how did you do it? and teach me. This is actually a really good story. My friend James, that has a company called Certified Closers, he was making $15,000 a month when I first met him. Last month he did $337,000 in 1 month.
Damn.
And I have nothing against that. I'm super happy for you, bro. I'm just like, show me what you did. Like, if you're not receptive to people that were once below you and then they surpass you, like, that's just like arrogance to me. Like,
You just have to have an open mind.
you have to have an open mind, which is why, like, I have really good friends, because I don't take anything personally. I'm like, I'm happy for you, bro. Just show me. Like, teach me. What does it cost? Oh, it costs $5,000, it costs $10,000? Okay. Teach me. Teach me how to grow and further my knowledge onto how I can progress forward.
How do you deal with failure?
By fucking screaming. Like, sometimes I just need to, like, let that shit out, bro. Like, I'm not the best when it comes to dealing with failure, because I have an ego when it comes to certain things.
Why?
Because I'm just used to winning. And when something doesn't go my way, I'm just like, I feel like a loser. I feel like a failure. No matter how small or big the accomplishment is, like, I still feel like a failure. But, like, the best way I deal with it is literally, like, I'll just stop working. I'll go do something else. I'll reset. When I come back to it, I'll think about how I can move forward from it. And that's the best way that I've been able to overcome failure and be better at being more diligent and more self-aware of where I messed up and how I can improve forward.
Is it better to be school smart or street smart?
I'll say street smart.
Why?
Because when you're school smart, you're only looking at the books. When you're street smart, I think street smart is like real world experiences. You learn more from being in the world than you do in school. Because school is like a bubble. Like, as soon as you step out that bubble, like...
It's the real world.
Yeah, like, your school doesn't mean shit. Unless, like, I told you, like, you have an actual profession that actually means something. Like, finance or accountant or lawyer, doctor. Like, these things are all things that you can take into the real world. Like, and I think that being street smart just teaches you a lot more. I bet that I've learned way more than any college student has.
Why?
Because I've experienced way worse things than they have, and I learned a lot more financially, and I learned a lot more by fucking up and moving forward and just being better at my craft. These kids, they think that they go to college and they take a test and they think that they progress somehow in the world, when all they did was score a really good grade and nothing else changed in their life besides having a good grade.
Yeah.
So unless you're working a job that actually applies to your degree and you're using that degree towards your real world experiences, then I think it's beneficial. But, like, I think that being street smart always is going to outbeat the person that goes to school.
So you don't think somebody who's going to school for business should get a 4-year degree? They should do it in the real world instead of going to a college?
I think so. I think that you learn a lot more. You'll meet a lot. Okay, let's actually analyze this for a second.
Yeah.
You're in school for business?
Yeah.
Okay. Do any of your college professors have 7 figures in their account?
No, they all drive like shitty cars.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. What does that teach you?
That I shouldn't be taking advice from them.
Okay, why shouldn't you be taking advice from them?
They don't have a nice car. They don't, like, it's just the Matrix.
Yeah, it is the Matrix. Like, you're listening to someone that you don't want to be like.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Like,
why are you gonna
to
listen?
get a stupid diploma?
Yeah, well, like, you're listening to them, and if you challenge their knowledge and you say, hey, like, have you done this, have you done that, they get mad.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they're arrogant and they don't want to learn anything else besides what the books tell them to do. Yeah, the books will show you how to get started, how to grow, how to manage things correctly, but you're not applying that to yourself, so why should these kids listen to you?
What advice would you give to people that came from the same place as you?
If you want to make $10,000 a month, I would get into sales.
Why is selling important?
Because sales is the currency that allows you to sell whatever you want. So, like, you could sell something for $25,000 and make $25,000 in 1 month. Versus, like, if you want to get into what I got into, which is ads, you're going to need years of experience.
How do you sell?
How do I sell?
Yeah.
I sell myself.
Hmm.
I sell myself. I sell the things that I've done. I sell my successes. And I talk about my failures as well, because I have very little of them. But I want people to recognize that, like, we're both the same, that you can grow as well. And if I show you my successes, like, this is something that you could be a part of. This is something that I want you to be a part of. And you're only going to want to be successful if you want it for yourself. So if you have all this money saved up, okay, cool. What are you going to do with it? Give it to me and let me show you how to progress your business.
What would you do if you had to start all over again, like from scratch?
Find a mentor. I think that's the first thing I would do. I would, like, the same things that I was doing when I had nothing. I was just putting myself into rooms where people were, like, way, like, they had Lambros and Ferraris.
You just have to be around the money.
You just got to be around the money. Like, and people will respect that if you have nothing. People respect more if you listen to what they say and implement what they say.
And apply them.
And apply what they say. No one's going to respect you if you aren't doing what they say. Like, I had a lot of people ask me for advice and they don't do anything. And I'm just like, okay, I'm never going to talk to you again. And the same thing for mentors that I've had. If I don't do anything that they're going to say, why are they going to give me more advice? There's no point of it. So it's like, I would find a mentor. I would listen to the mentor. And I would just accept that you suck for right now. And that you can get better if you just listen to the advice that someone above you gives you. And if you're not willing to listen, then, you know what? Just stay where you are. Because, like, these people...
Stay away.
Yeah, stay a brokey. Like, people are not going to acknowledge you as someone that wants to grow. People are going to acknowledge you for someone that wants to stay stagnant if they don't want to surround themselves with that energy.
Why is it important to go to the gym?
I think I don't do it for physical reasons. I do it for more mental reasons. I think that going to the gym allows me to start my day productively, and I believe, personally, that you accomplish something early in the day, and the rest of the day you can accomplish more things.
Have you ever read the book Make Your Bed?
No, I haven't.
It's basically about, I forgot the author, but basically it's like one small task to start your day. Making your bed dictates the rest of your day. It's actually a really good book. It's one of my favorite books, and I don't realize.
What other lessons are in that book?
Well, it's about a Navy SEAL, and it's like basically telling you all of his experiences, like in the Navy SEAL, all that stuff, all of his experiences, like mental, physical, all that stuff. It's all in there. And I think it's like probably one of the, like, what's a really good book that you've read?
One really good book that I read was $100 Million Offers by Alex Ramosi. And I don't really read books. I only read books that benefit me. So I'm not the best person when it comes to, like, book recommendations. I only think that I read books that I can relate to because I'm more interested in it, and I can stay focused on it. If I'm reading something that I'm not interested in, I lose focus really easily. And that was a problem I had growing up, is that I couldn't focus on a lot of things because I just wasn't interested on it. But I think that reading something that will help you, like what you're saying, or what I'm saying, is going to be beneficial to you to grow your business. Because $100 Million Offers, for example, taught me how to structure my offer and create an irresistible offer in order to pursue my business forward.
What do you think of video sales letters versus regular landing pages with no videos?
I think that if you have a video sales letter, which is a VSL, that it's more beneficial for you because people can see the actual process of what they're getting themselves into before booking a call. Unless you have an online brand and you're pushing a lot of content about what you do in your business and how you benefited people, then I think those things are very beneficial for regular landing pages. But I split tested regular landing pages and video sales letters, and video sales letters always do better than regular landing pages. Like, I think that it just, like, shows your prospects of what you can do for their business versus just showing them the outcomes of things that you've done for other businesses.
How important is it to create a brand online?
It's very important. It's important for anybody that has a business because people are not going to know who you are or what you offer if you don't have anything online. Like, people are trying to, whenever someone sees your ad or they see your services online, the first thing they're going to do is go to Google and look things about you up. So
SEO.
Yeah, SEO, search engine optimization. They're going to type in your name, and if you have shitty reviews and, like, all these things, then people are not going to want to do business with you, which is why your online reputation needs to be great, and people need to understand what you actually stand for when they are working with you.
How important is it to have a good offer?
So I think that, for my instance, having a good offer is way better than just selling yourself, because you have to keep this online persona if you want more people to work with you, which is a good thing as well because you get a lot more high quality people into your pipeline. But if you create an offer that's really easy for people to get into, especially when you're first starting out and you want to create a really good offer, then something that I would recommend is creating an offer that's quick, gets people fast results, and keeps them for a long time. Those are like the three things that I would be most worried about if I was creating an offer. And that will just like drive people to want to work with you and drive more money into your business.
What lessons have you learned from online businesses?
That you need automation set up, you need a good landing page set up, you need good ads set up, you need like the whole like shabam for online businesses in order to be successful. Because like have you ever booked, like have you ever been to like a massage place?
Yeah.
Okay, like when you book and then they send you like a reminder for you to come in. If you don't have these things set up, like especially if
people forget.
Yeah, if you don't have these things set up, and people have lives, like, and their number one priority is not gonna be to get on a sales call unless you remind them and the importance of it in order for them to grow their business. So the lessons that I've learned is to make sure that people are reminded about actually hopping on a call. People are reminded about your results that you've driven for other people. And if they aren't, then you're going to lose money and you're going to be draining money on ads and spending money frivolously when people don't even know the importance of your business.
What are some lessons you learned from e-commerce?
That you can't be lazy with creating new content. And if you're lazy with creating new content, then you aren't going to grow your brand.
They're going to hire someone else.
They're not going to hire someone else. They're just going to put the blame on you because they didn't want to take action for helping you to achieve what they want to achieve for their own business. So if you're an online e-commerce business, I think that like you need to produce content. Like as much as you just want to spend money on one ad, like it's not going to benefit you for a long term. Like it's only going to benefit you for like a few weeks, and then you need to like restart and reset and then find some other angle of like how to sell these people onto your product. Like people don't realize that like all these big people online that are making millions of dollars from their Shopify, the reason why they're making millions of dollars is because they produce a lot of content. And if you just get lazy with that, and I know it's hard, I'm not saying it's easy. Making content it's fucking hard. And I think that if you just create reps weekly into your brand and you just keep picking that up, like it's going to do you justice over a long period of time. And it's going to compound. It's going to create a compounding effect for your brand online and your social awareness.
What makes you different than everyone else who does Facebook ads?
What makes me different is that I am very personable. So I think that, and I have a lot of experience when it comes to targeting in a lot of different industries. I've worked in probably like 250 niches, and I've tested a lot more things than a lot of other advertisers. I know I'm young, and I know that a lot of people may see like, oh, it's just this guy, but like, trust me, I've spent a lot of money to figure a lot of things out for businesses that just didn't know any knowledge on ads. So like, I figured stuff out from a very early perspective online, and I think that like I can help a lot of different people in whatever industry you're in. Like I know the basis of how to get you from where you are now, $30,000 a month, to $100,000 a month.
Do you think God called you to do what you're doing?
I think I'm still trying to figure that out.
Wow. And how old are you?
I'm 22, turning 23 on Monday.
Damn. Oh, happy early birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that I still don't know. Like I'm about to be 23. I think that I'm doing something right.
Yeah. I mean, you're ahead of everyone else.
Yeah. I think that I don't know. I think that's still early. I think that I'm still evolving. I think that every day I'm learning something new about myself. I think that if I keep trying different things, then I'm going to learn faster about what my purpose is. I think that right now what my current purpose is just to help people to grow their business and just to show them that, not every ad agency is out there to just burn your dollars and take money from you, and just to show you that they actually do care about what you have going on. And I think that's the most important thing of what I'm doing right now.
Why is it important to take risks?
It's important to take risk because you won't know what the outcome will be.
Unless you try.
Unless you try. I was working as a detailer when I was 18. I saved up $7,000,
Wow.
and I spent $4,000 on a laptop.
Mm-hmm.
I spent $1,000 on my what did I spend $1,000? I spent $1,000 on my course, and then I was down to like $1,000 left over. So I was ready to. Not everyone's willing to go down to zero, and I was just willing to do what a lot of people aren't willing to do. And I think that if you take risks, like it'll put you in a spot where you have to have an outcome in order to progress forward. And not a lot of people are willing to put their backs against the wall because they're scared that it won't work and that they can't make the money back. But if you live in a scarce mindset, then you're not going to be abundant to the things that are going to happen for you and that God is preparing for you.
What does success mean to you?
Freedom of time and being able to spend money how you want it, when you want it, and being able to do the things that you want to do with people that you love. I think that's success.
Do you think people are slaves in today's world?
In what way?
Like 9 to 5s?
I mean, yeah. There's guys that have worked. I saw this one video the other day, and this guy worked at 7-Eleven for 50 years.
Damn.
And he just got an email whenever he was there for 50 years that said, "Thank you for being here for 50 years," and that was it.
Damn.
And I just don't. I mean, some people come to this country and they're just good with that, but they're saving their money for better things. Some of them don't. And I think that not everyone can be successful because they can't handle the amount of stress that comes with it. And I think that some people just need to be told what to do, and that's okay. But the people that are willing to not do that are the people that create big things in the world.
How do you handle stress?
I handle stress by doing things that allow me to relieve myself. So, like, I'll go smoke a cigar or go be an alcohol. I'm just kidding. But I'll just go, like, have a drink. I'll go do something that actually, like, helps me to relieve myself mentally. Because I think that, like, whenever you are in a high-stressed environment, like, you have to do things that allow you to reset your mind. And I am really good at knowing when I'm in a very stressed mindset because I don't feel like I'm progressing, and I feel like a lot of things are just coming at me at once. So I'll just take things one at a time, and I'll write my problems out. Be like, okay, I'm struggling with this. How can I fix this? Everything has a problem and solution. So I think that's how I deal with stress.
So you go with the solutions, not the problems.
Yeah, I just try to figure out what my problems are and creating solutions for that.
What does your diet look like?
There's this book about fruits till noon. Have you ever heard about that?
No.
No? Okay. So I eat fruits until 12 o'clock. And then after that, I'll eat like meat, whatever I want after that. And what I've learned from eating fruits till noon and then having whatever I want after that is that my body feels a lot more energized. So I'll feel a lot more energized strictly just by how I eat in the morning. And I have a lot more energy whenever I'm eating that until noon, and then I eat whatever else throughout the day. And that helps me to stay focused, actually. Because a lot of people, they eat like heavy stuff like pancakes and eggs and all that. Like, I don't blame anybody for that, but like that just doesn't help me mentally. And I think that if you feel good eating whatever you eat and you don't feel like sluggish throughout the day, then do whatever works for you. But that's what works for me.
Is it important to have a good routine?
Ooh. The only routine that I really have, I mean, I think that it's good to have a good routine if it's for your job. Like, for instance, I write down what I need to do for the next day.
Do you plan ahead of time?
Yeah, I do. Because if I wake up the next day and I don't know what I'm going to be doing, then I feel like a loser. I just feel like that whenever I don't write things down and I don't have a plan. Because I feel like I'm going through the day without any action. And whenever I have no action, I feel like I have no momentum. And whenever I have no momentum, I can see myself overthinking a lot of things. Because I'm not taking steps forward towards my goals.
Anxiety?
Yeah, and have you ever watched Inside Out 2?
Yeah.
Okay. In that movie, I think they did a really good job about demonstrating what anxiety actually is. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I have anxiety, oh, I have this. But really, anxiety, what it is is that you're thinking of hypothetical things that are going to happen when it actually hasn't happened yet. So I try to not do that. I'm an overthinker.
So am I.
So that's just my thing. And whenever I overthink, I think about all these different things that are going to happen.
All the different possibilities.
Yeah, what if it doesn't work? What if it does work? And I'm just like, well, you know what? You're not going to know until you actually do it. So I think that just having a plan helps you to have less anxiety.
Do you believe in medication?
No.
Why?
Medication or what? And
like, let's say anxiety pills, like depression pills.
No, I think that alters your brain. I think that taking all these medications, like, there's always good things that happen with them, and there's always a negative thing that happens.
Side effects.
Yeah, there's side effects. And I think that anyone that takes medication for these things, like, if you're bipolar, like, you totally understand why you need medication. But, like, if you're just a lot of people, they say, like, oh, I have anxiety. Oh, I have this.
Everyone does.
Oh, I have... And they put these identities on themselves, and that's what they attract to themselves. Like, if you just say, today, I'm gonna fucking crush today. Like, you're gonna wake up, and you're just gonna be like, I'm gonna do whatever I can to feel like I'm gonna crush today. If you wake up and you just tell yourself, oh, I feel anxious today. Sad me. Like, you're just gonna go through the day feeling like that. And I think that that's a very negative way to think.
The law of attraction?
Law of attraction. Like, if you're talking to people every day that just talk about how much anxiety they have about an upcoming test or an upcoming project in their business or things that are just negative towards the situation that they're currently dealing with, you're also going to have that same type of idea in your head, regardless if you want it or not, because this is what people are talking about. If you're talking to people that are like, I have this written down, this is how I'm going to plan it out, this is what's going to happen, and if it doesn't work, then this is my alternate plan. And that's exactly like what these successful people are doing. They're literally having a plan of action. People, this is actually really good. I went to Miami. I had these girls come to lunch with me, and obviously they want to be around me because I'm doing what I'm doing, and they can see everything from online and what I'm doing, right? So they come to me and they're like, I just want to be rich, and they're telling me this, and it's my boy Jason Ocasio there and these two other girls that I invited. And they're like, I want to be rich. I'm like, okay, why do you want to be rich? And they're like, because I just want to be rich.
Why?
Why? Why do you want the things that you want? And they're like, well, I think that it'll just be beneficial for me. And like, when you are looking at money in the way of only being self-beneficial to you, that's great. But who else is watching you? I personally believe that God is watching me.
He's always watching.
And I think that if I only wanted money for my own self-interest, then I would have nothing that I have today.
You want to provide.
I want to provide. I want to be the person that people can come to, say I have a problem, and they don't want to hear, oh, I'm stressed, tell me tomorrow.
They don't want to hear people complain.
They don't want to hear people complain. They just want to be like, I have a solution. This is what my solution is. And this is the thing that I put into the woman that I'm currently dating right now. Like, she tells me a lot of her problems, and I'm like, okay, well, what are you going to do about it? Are you just going to keep talking about your problems? And then she's like, I'm just dealing with this, I'm dealing with that. And I get it. Like, women, they are not thinking in the logical sense most of the time. They're thinking in the most emotional sense most of the time. And that's okay, because that's how they're built. That's how God built them to be.
Yes.
It's our job as guys to come to them and be like, listen, your problems are not going to be solved by you over explaining and telling me the same thing that's going to happen to you. What are you going to do about it? I'm stressed about a test. Okay, did you study enough?
I feel like people treat God like a genie.
Yeah, like, oh, if I have a problem, I'm going to pray about it, and if God doesn't show me it, then...
They don't put the action in.
Like, God, you know what God, I see that God loves from a personal view, is that people that actually work towards what they want.
How often do you pray?
I try every day to remember. I don't do it as often as I probably would need to.
Why?
Some days I don't prioritize it the way I need to, if I'm going to be honest with myself. I think that I pray probably when I remember. And I try to pray in the morning. I try to pray before I go to bed. And I think that whenever I do, I don't pray for the wrong things, which is also very important because I don't pray for more money. I don't pray for any of those things. I don't pray for materialistic things. What I do pray for is wisdom and knowledge most of the time. That's what I pray for. And how I experience those things is with lessons, regardless if I'm making money or not making money.
Do you think God works through people?
I do. I do think that God works through people. I think that God positions people in our life for a reason, regardless if they're good or bad. I think that if they're in your life, that something is going to be learned from that, whether it's positive or negative. You're going to learn something. And as long as you can go with the mental attitude that you're going to learn something good or bad out of any experience in life, you will always be better than the day you were before.
Why is it important to like dress up, like dress for success?
Dress for success?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very simple, dude. You're the one who's dressed for success.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, if I'm going to a professional setting, I definitely need to dress more accordingly.
Why?
Because people look at you differently.
People judge you?
People do judge you. People judge you from the way that you dress. And a good example of this is when Akko, which is one of my good friends, and you're one of your good friends.
Yes.
He went to an event, and he was dressed in a suit. And he got all this attention for being dressed in a suit, and people went up to him because he was dressed in a suit. Versus someone that's dressed very casually, probably like me, probably wouldn't get as much attention. So if you are dressing for success and you are going to a lot of things that are in-person things, then people are going to take you a lot more seriously. And I think that that is a very important aspect of your outside persona, or how people look at you from the outside in. So I think that's important. I think that people that underdress and don't take how they dress seriously when they're trying to meet actual important people, that they're not going to get recognized. Actually, and sometimes I don't think it's important because I actually went to an event, and one of the guys that was underdressed, I didn't really pay attention to him, but this guy had $100 billion.
Damn.
And all he had was a hat, pair of jeans, didn't have a watch, and he had a nice like polo. And that was it. A very simple Ralph Lauren polo with some jeans and a nice hat.
I mean, he doesn't have to show off because he has the money.
He doesn't have to show off. And like people like me wouldn't think that guys like him would have anything. But you shouldn't have that type of outlook on people just because of how they dress. But it is important because you do address people differently because of how they dress, regardless if they do have money or if they don't have money.
Why do you think people don't believe in God?
I think that a lot of negative experiences came from when they did believe in God and they just didn't look at the things in a positive light. And I think that sometimes people don't want to believe in God anymore just because of the negative things that happen to them in their life. And I'm not saying that, like, there's a lot of bad things that happen to people that make them just give up on everything. And I think that a great example of this is actually my dad. I haven't experienced anything like this, but my dad, he lost his mom and his dad before he was 18.
Wow.
So I think that, like, for him personally, like, he just was, like, angry at God and the world. And I could relate to that in the way of, like, on my 20th birthday, 2 days before my actual birthday, my aunt passed away. And I think that in that time, I was, like, questioning a lot of things. And I think that when I did question things, that I didn't look at it looking back at it now, it's probably like one of the best things that happened to me real life wise, because I was like, okay, she's gone. I can't be a loser anymore. Like,
you have to step up.
I need to step up. Like, I've seen when COVID happened, I watched like 5 of my family members pass away in 1 year, and I was just like, okay, like this is shit. What just happened to me? But like, what am I gonna do about this?
You could either go negative or positive with that.
Yeah, like I can start doing drugs and drinking alcohol, or I can become super, super successful.
You have to make them proud.
Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted.
Law of Newton.
Yeah.
Law.
So I converted all that energy to just trying to be successful.
You believe in manifestation?
I do believe in manifestation.
Why?
Because what you say is what happens. Let's say this, like, if you were telling yourself every single day that nothing good is going to happen to you.
Nothing good will ever happen.
Nothing good will ever happen to you. But if you keep telling yourself, I'm gonna get out of this, I'm gonna be better, and you just keep telling yourself that, then you're gonna start bringing a lot of good things towards you. But you have to have action behind it as well.
You can't go to the gym every day, say, I'm going to get stronger, and then never, do the machines, work out, do that stuff.
Like, you're just going to be at home and still be skinny or be overweight, and nothing in life is going to progress for you because you're just saying things. You're not actually doing it.
Why do you think it's important to be in shape? Like, whether that's mentally, physically?
I just think it's good for you mentally.
Why?
Because the way that you look says a lot about what goes through your head. So if you're skinny or overweight, if you're skinny, then I don't think that being skinny really has anything to do with it. I think that more so being overweight has more to do with it, because you're putting all these negative foods into your body that are not helping your brain to think actively and think differently.
You are what you eat.
Yeah. I think that if there's a lot of skinny, like, UFC fighters and a lot of skinny people, but their brains are still like, they're like, I want it. Like, I want to keep growing. So I think that you literally just need to position yourself in the way that is going to be beneficial to you long term. And if you want your kids or people that you are looking up to see you in a different light, then you need to recognize that and understand that whatever you portray is what other people are looking at. So people are not going to listen to you if you're not doing what you're telling other people. So
you have to practice what you preach.
Yes, you do. Because I'm not going to listen to anybody that says you need to do this every single day, and then they're not doing that every single day.
They're being a hypocrite.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to take advice from you because you're not doing what you're telling me. Like, why am I going to listen to you? If you're ultra successful and you have all these things that I want, like, I'm going to listen to you because...
You want to be like them.
Yeah, and it's arrogance if you don't listen to them. Like, I understand that I suck right now and that I need to be better. So this is what your energy is coming to me. And if you're going to give me that energy, I'm going to absorb it and I'm going to convert it to, like, be ultra better. So, yeah.
Why do you think people are depressed?
Because of their life circumstances. I don't think that you can be prescribed as depressed. I think that a lot of people just go through a lot of negative things, and that's okay. I just think that you need to position yourself differently if you are in a depressed place. And I think that you need to find God. I think that if you are depressed, that a lot of people... Okay, so I think this is why people are depressed. Because they have a dream and the reality. And what lies between that is misery and depression. If you aren't doing anything.
If you aren't going towards your goals.
If you aren't doing anything. I think that's the reason why people are depressed. Because all these things online are telling you that you need to be this, you need to be that. And you're just in the middle of where you want to be in your dreams. And I think that's where the depression lies. But depression also lies because you're not doing anything to get to where you want to be. And I think that your life circumstances is what translates to you being depressed, and it's a signal for you to do something different rather than just being complacent with where you are and versus where you want to be.
What should people do when they hit rock bottom?
In what instance?
Like say they're homeless, say they're lost their house, lost their job. Do you think they should have better faith, or do you think like they should like do it on their own?
I think that they need to have faith and they need to have action if they hit rock bottom. Like, you're hitting rock bottom, okay, why did you hit rock bottom? Were you out too much? Were you drinking too much? What were you doing? And if you analyze yourself, you'll have a better understanding of how to progress forward and be better.
Why do you think people go to clubs?
It's an outlet and a distraction of their reality. And I think that people don't want to acknowledge their reality, so they go to clubs thinking that they can, especially for guys. I'll speak from a guy's perspective, and I'll tell my reasoning as to a woman's perspective. But for a guy's perspective, they want to go to the club because it's the easiest way to get girls. Girls are drunk, they're having a good time, and then guys just want to get laid. That's the reality of, that's really the reality of clubs. Like, guys just want to get laid. That's why they're going to clubs in the first place, because they want sexual chemistry with a woman and distract themselves from the reality of what they actually have going on.
Like, they want lust.
Yeah, they want lust. And women, I believe, go to clubs because they want attention that they're not getting from the outside world.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just a bad environment. Like, you're not going to find anything. You're not going to find your wife in a club. You'll probably find a hookup, but you're not going to find a wife. And I don't understand why guys would want to put so much energy into one night with a female when it's not going to benefit you. You're not learning anything.
It's not going to last.
Yeah, the only thing that you learn from hooking up with a girl is that you can do it. It's the only thing you learn. I don't think, and you learn how to talk to females, whatever, but you don't learn anything about growing with another person. All you learn is that you can be somewhere that doesn't benefit you and that you can escape your reality for 6 hours of your day.
And you go back to reality.
And then you go back to reality and you realize how shit your life is and your bank account
and you repeat balance. The process.
Yeah. And your bank account balance is back down to zero. So what are you trying to extract from going to the club? And I just think that people are just trying to escape their reality. When I went to clubs, I think that I can speak from my own personal experience. I think I just went to clubs because I knew that that's where all the girls were at, and I wanted to practice just being more social with women and learning how to speak to more women and cold approaching them. Because sales and talking to women is the exact same thing. You're going to get probably 50 no's and 15 yeses. And out of those 15 yeses, 3 of those girls are going to want to do the nasty things with you. And then you just learn that, like, the whole thing of just going to clubs and doing all these things is really a sales thing. I think that if guys, honestly, converted their energy from trying to hook up with girls to trying to and applying that skill to sales, they'd be super successful. But guys don't see it like that. They're just like, I'm horny, I want to do this. And that's not going to help you to grow. Which is why I don't talk to a lot of people.
Who do you talk to on, like, a daily basis? Like, is it quality? Is it, like, what dictates, like, for example, why do you think who you hang out with improves your life?
Because I give my energy towards things that are going to help me to progress forward.
What if, like, you're somebody and then you hang around with a bunch of people, drama, this and that? How does that negatively impact your life?
Because you're just thinking, like, what am I doing? You have all these thoughts. Like, I'll be in an environment where people are just, if they're just complaining and doing all these things.
Then you'll start to complain.
Yeah, then I'll just start to think, like, okay, like, why am I here? Why am I listening to these people? And I try to, like, extort that energy somewhere else. But I just try to surround myself with people that are just talking about money. That's all I really care about. And it's not from, like, a sinful place. It's literally just because I just want more to accomplish more. Money is what buys you the things that are going to lead you to never being able to have to work again.
Do you ever read the Bible?
Not as often as I should.
Why not?
I don't prioritize it.
Why?
Because I prioritize other things that are happening in my life, like business, prioritize my family.
So you put business over God?
I wouldn't say I put business over God. I just don't think that I prioritize my business more than reading the Bible. I don't think I prioritize my business more than God, though.
Is there any Bible verses, like, you know, that, like, you say on a daily basis?
I think Joshua 1:9.
What is that?
It's like, be courageous with the Lord, your God. And it's along, I don't know it off the top of my head, but it's basically like, be courageous with the Lord your God because, like, he's there with you through, like, the trials and tribulations. I think that's along the lines of how it goes. But that's, like, one of my favorite Bible verses. And then I think that also, what's another one? I'm not going to say John 3:16.
For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son. Whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life.
I'll say Philippians 4:13.
I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Yeah, I'll say that one's really important to me. And I think that the Book of Proverbs is also really good.
Proverbs is really good.
Yeah.
What's your favorite verse from there?
I don't have a specific verse. I just think that Bible, that chapter of the Bible has a lot of lessons because it was written by King Solomon, I believe.
I'm not sure, probably.
I think it was written by King Solomon, which is the richest man in Babylon.
Wasn't King Solomon the one who asked God for wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what you do on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. That's just why I pray for wisdom more than I pray for money. Because if I can be more wise, then that means
you'll make money in the process.
You'll make more money in the process. And being wise also teaches you a lot of outside real world things as well. So I think that's why I prioritize wisdom over money.
Why do you think people are money hungry?
Because that's what social media portrays as success. And I don't think that people realize that these people have success in the first place because of all the lessons that they went through. I think that if you went through a lot of hard things, that you would make a lot of money in the process, because it's hard. It's hard to be successful. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people can deal with that.
If it was easy, everyone would do it.
Yeah, if it was easy, everyone would do it. And that's why a lot of people are not willing to go to the things that a lot of people are willing to go through, that are dealing with a lot of stress and a lot of problems. If you want a simple life, you can work wherever you're working. If you want an extraordinary life, you're going to have to deal with a lot of stress. There's no light without dark, right?
Yep.
So you're not going to have...
You wouldn't know the light without darkness.
Yeah, you wouldn't even be appreciating it if you didn't go through all these hard things. Because even when you get to the top, there's still a lot of things that you have to deal with. Like, look at Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he was literally, like, dealing with a bunch of lawsuits for Twitter and free speech and all these different things that were going online about him. So, like, you can have all the success, but this is also comes with it as well. And I don't think a lot of people are prepared for that mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people also want all the success, but they can't deal with it.
Why?
Okay, so my sister and I were watching this thing called you know what Love Island is?
I've heard of it.
Okay, well, it's like a reality TV show.
Yeah.
And they had a reunion recently, and in that reunion, all these people fell apart mentally because of all the negative comments that they were getting online, like at once. And that's why, like, I think that a lot of people want the good, but they don't want the bad that comes with it. It's like you get all these followers, but then what happens from having all this exposure on social media is that all these people are also judging you for your personal views and how you view things, which is going to come with it. So you just have to be ready for whatever comes with the good.
How do you deal with negative comments? I'm sure you've had a lot.
I just understand that they want what I have. That's how I deal with it. I'm just like, this person just wants what I have. And I'm not going to have anything negative to say about them. I think that God will teach them lessons. I think that God will show them that, hey, like, you're not going to get anywhere by thinking this way. And if you want to grow, then you need to accept that people are just better than you in some cases and that you can learn from them. And I don't think that I have any say in that. That's why I don't attack people. I don't. If someone's something negative about me or something negative about my life, I just unfollow them.
I mean, it's that easy in today's world.
I just unfollow them, I block them, and I just don't listen. I'm just like, because your mental attitude is not going to help me to achieve what I want to achieve, so why the fuck would I listen to you?
Why do you think people, like, listen to what other people say?
Validation.
Validation? Ego?
Ego, validation.
Why is it bad to have an ego?
It can be good and bad. I think it's good because it allows you to be confident in yourself. Whenever you have ego, that just comes from confidence because you've done something so many times. I think it's also negative because if you let that ego get the best of you, you're not going to take in what other people have to give to you that are better than you.
Why is it important to be open-minded?
Because that's the only thing that's going to allow you to grow.
Is there, like, any scenarios where you are closed-minded or, like, you know, stuff like that?
I'm only closed-minded to people that are below me and they haven't achieved what I've achieved. But I think that, and I'm only talking in the business sense. If you're talking to me about relationships or things that I'm not
in general,
if you're talking to me about something that I'm not good at, that you're successful in, like if you have a really healthy marriage, I want to talk to you about you.
You choose who you take advice from.
Yeah, I take things from conversations that I can actually apply that you're better than me at. Like if you're trying to
you're not gonna get advice from a fat person to
be healthy.
Healthy, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna take advice from that. Like if you achieve something in an area that I'm not good at, I'm going to listen.
Is there like a time and a place for these things, or it can happen anywhere?
It can happen anywhere. I went to a cigar lounge in Orlando, and every time I go there, there's always Lamborghinis, always Ferraris, and I always try to become friends with those guys, because if you surround yourself with money, you're going to be in a very different place, regardless if they're in the same industry as you or not. They're going to be talking about money. They're going to be talking about conquering. They're going to talk about growing. Because you don't get to that level with thinking that everyone's against you. You get to that
Teamwork.
level by listening to other people. That's how you get to that level, really. And people don't realize that these people got there because they dropped their ego in order to get the things that they have today.
How is today's world different than it was like 50 years ago?
Well, I can't tell you about 50 years ago because I'm not that much older than you.
Oh, yeah.
But what I can tell you is that I can tell you from a relationship perspective.
Yeah.
And I think that when you're in a relationship with a woman that you are in love with, you can sometimes be naive in thinking that these people on social media that are smiling are better than your relationship, or they are in a happy relationship, when in reality
they can look like online.
Yeah, they're probably not. Like, a lot of these people that are social media couple influencers, like, they're sometimes cheating on each other.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're just going through shit that no one talks about. So I think that that's how it's different, because everyone's always trying to compare, which is why I always look at relationships online and I'm like, yeah, you're smiling, but what are you going through? Like, you're posting this because you want validation from people and you want people to acknowledge that you're in a happy relationship, when in reality you could be in a really shit place negatively. And I don't think that a lot of people realize that these people are not as happy as you think they are.
They may look happy, but
yeah, and a lot of people can be in a lot of negative places. Like, they could be in a really shit place financially, and they're fighting every day about that, but they're posting on social media that they're so happy getting married. This is actually a good subject.
Yeah, let's stay on it.
People that are my age that get married, I think that they shouldn't be getting married or even proposing to their significant other if they're not prepared to take care of that woman.
Why?
Because whenever you propose, you're telling her that I'm going to take care of you. You have nothing to worry about, regardless if you are or aren't working. And I don't think that love should be the only reason why you propose to somebody.
What are the other reasons?
I think that the reasons why you should propose to somebody is because you're ready to be a leader, you're ready to communicate with them, you're ready to deal with all the challenges that come together, you're ready to deal with the kids, you're ready to deal with all the life experiences that come with moving in together and handling real life problems. And if you're ready to do that, then get married. But I don't think that a lot of these people that are proposing to each other, they're just doing it just because they think that it's okay.
Why do you think they think it's okay?
They think it's okay because of social norms. Everyone my age, or not everyone, I'd say a select few amount of people, are getting proposed to, probably younger, older than me, a little bit older than me. But the only people that I really see that are in really good positions to get married are the people that actually have set themselves up from when they were younger. Why are you going to propose to her if you're not ready to take on
your responsibility,
all the responsibility that comes with it? Why? Because you love her? No.
What does love mean to you?
Love is a choice. I think love is an action. I don't think that love portrays in a sexual manner. I think that love portrays in a way that, like, regardless of what you do or don't do, I'm still going to be there for you in the good and bad times. I think that's what love is. I think love is unconditional. I don't think that love comes with conditional factors. Like, I should stop saying like.
It's okay.
If a woman is super loyal to you in your good times and your bad times, I think that's a woman that actually loves you.
Yeah.
Versus a woman that only loves you because of where you are. And I know what a good woman is because I went on a lot of different dates. And that's why I think that as a young man, that you just going on a few dates and thinking that, oh, this girl's going to be the one for me, it's not going to teach you anything. I've been probably on 100 plus dates with different women. And the more dates that you go on, the more confident you are.
The more things you learn.
I just learned to be very blunt with women. Like, if I'm not interested, I'm just going to tell you. I went on a date once with a few different women. And if you're watching this, I truly meant what I said.
Here we go.
But I told them that they were boring.
Damn.
I told them that they were boring. And I told them that they didn't stimulate my mind. And that they created a really boring conversation. And that... Because you know what a lot of these women do is that they talk about a lot of different people and a lot of different people's successes. and they talk about experiences like, oh, did you watch that one Netflix show?
Yeah.
Did you watch that one Netflix show?
The Kardashians.
Did you watch Post Malone? Like, and I'm just like, okay, I don't want to hear about that. Talk to me about what you've done.
A lot of people just talk about what other people do instead of talking to what they've actually done.
And that's how they relate, though.
Yeah.
And they think that because that's how they relate, that's why they should be together. I don't agree with that. If you're a woman that has been through a lot of different things, and you can, like, if not a lot of different things, like relationship-wise, like if you've been through a lot of different things with traveling and other things that are real-life experiences that I can relate to you on, then I think that we would get along as a couple. If you're just talking to me about other people's successes, like, I just get bored of the conversation. I'm very uninterested in you, regardless of how beautiful you are. I will still tell you that you're boring. To your face, I will tell you that you're boring. And I don't care, because I know that time is very valuable, and that and I'm only telling them that because I want them to value their time on the date and know that my intentions are pure, and that I'm not on this date because I want to try to hook up with you. I'm actually trying to look for a woman. And if you're not
your wife.
And to be my wife. And if you're not that woman, I'm going to let you know from day one.
Not going to waste your time.
I'm not going to waste my time. And that's why I think that a lot of guys are just scared to tell girls. Like,
why do you think men are scared?
Because they're scared of emotions. They're
scared of being rejected?
I don't think they're scared of being rejected. I think that they're just scared of the emotions that they're going to create if they tell a girl what they do and don't like about them.
Why?
Because they can't deal with it. That's what I'm saying, like, the more dates that you go on, the more you're going to realize what you do and don't like about certain women. That's why I think that you should go on a ton of dates.
Do people use you? You ever feel like people use you, only reach out when they need something?
I don't allow that to happen. I can recognize that from a distance.
How?
Because you can just tell when someone only reaches out to you when they need help versus when someone actually reaches out to you because they genuinely care. And I have a lot of good friends. Like, I don't have anybody in my circle that only reaches out to me when they need something. Like, they actually genuinely care. Like, regardless if we're in a business relationship or a personal relationship. I have very loyal people that I surround myself with. And I think that loyalty is very important from an early stage in your life, because if you don't have that, then you're just going to go through the world being used. And if you go through the world like that, you're going to have a very negative outcome.
How do you find these type of people, the quality people?
Just by over time, you'll realize what kind of people they are. And I can tell that with women now because I've just been on a lot of dates. I could tell when a woman's only interested in me because of all the money that they see online.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell when a woman actually wants to know me because they don't care about that stuff. They just want to know who I am. And that's why I say that, like, I don't care how beautiful she is. I will still look through everything that she's telling me and understand where she's trying to come from. Is she trying to use me, or is she trying to grow with me?
Why do you think that's important?
I think that that's important because that's your person for life.
Yeah. The mother to your kids.
Yeah, that's the mother of my kids. Like, I don't want a woman that's only going to ask me about money. Your job...
Yeah, what are the different jobs for men versus women? What do you think?
I think that women are just there to support you. This is a good example. You're not going to want one of your boys to take care of you whenever you're sick.
Yeah, you want a girl.
You want a girl to come and nurse you whenever you're sick. And I think and then you want your boys whenever they're trying to talk about money and how to grow, and you want a team with you, like a team of strong-minded individuals. And you're not going to get that from women because women are more emotional by God's creation.
They have more empathy.
They have more empathy and sympathy, which is why all this stuff is going around on political views and all that. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
But I think that, women just are there for different reasons. And you just need to understand that a loyal woman will go through anything with you. And you can recognize that from a very early perspective. I went on dates with women that straight up asked me on the first question, how much money do you make? What do you do to earn all this money?
They just want to know how to make money.
That's the first question that most of them always asked. And I knew that I could do two things, which is one, lead this girl on, or two, tell her to her face that I don't want to date her again, and that I appreciate her time, but I don't see this going any further. I'm very blunt when it comes on dates. I only learn
open and honest at the beginning.
Yeah, I just, regardless of how they feel after that, they'll learn from that of how to create conversation.
What advice do you wish you got when you were younger?
I wish that I was taught more about how to properly position myself financially. I wish that I was taught more about how to communicate with women. But I don't think that I would have learned any of these things without real life experience, which is why when I get into relationships, I learned a lot. Learned a lot from all my relationships in middle school and high school, which led me to where I am today with relationships I choose to be in, regardless if it's with love or with business. It still teaches you something. And I think that that's the best way to position yourself whenever it comes to looking at the world in that aspect.
Why should anyone get into business?
I think most people just get into business because they want to prove something.
Why?
Because they believe that they're better than the average person.
Smarter?
They just believe that they're better. Like, it's like an ego thing.
Yeah.
You get into business because you want to show people that you can do it and they can't.
Do you think you feel like you're better than other people?
I think that no. I think that I have better views than a lot of other people. I don't think that I'm better than anyone. And I think that my views allow me to look at the world in a different perspective, in a different light than most people would.
What are like your morals, values, and beliefs?
Keep God first. Understand that your communication can always be more effective with how you look at things. And I think that if you validate learning over money, or you validate time over money,
You'll make money in the process.
you'll make money in the process. I think that money is very abundant. I don't think that you should think with a limited mindset of money. I think that you should obviously position yourself correctly with money, but I don't think that you should be limited with how you think about money. And I think that God revolves around all that. Because if you don't keep God at the center of your relationship, then what do you have?
Nothing.
Nothing. You just have no morals, you have no beliefs, you have no integrity, I don't believe you have a lot. And I think that's why a lot of people that have some type of belief, whether you believe in God or multiple gods, you still have some type of morals and some type of belief around everything that you do in life.
Why do you think that's important?
Which aspect?
Morals, values, and beliefs. Why is it important to have those?
Because it says a lot about your character. And people can sense that type of energy coming off you whenever you're speaking to them.
Do you have any social anxiety?
No.
Why? How do people not have social anxiety?
I don't have any social anxiety because I just don't care about what people think.
I mean, it's that easy, right?
I just don't care, like, if you like me or not. And I think that social anxiety just comes from people trying to have validation from everyone that they interact with. Not everyone's going to like you. And I'm okay with that. If you don't like me, it's okay. Probably like other people. But I'm not meant for you. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why God made you feel like that. And there's a reason why we're not talking anymore. So I think that social anxiety also comes from social media. Because you're used to seeing everything online.
Everything's perfect.
And when you come together in person, you don't want to expose your flaws to other people. And you don't want people to see you in a different light.
Do you have regret towards anything?
No, I don't. Regardless if it was good or bad, I think I still just learned something from it. So I don't live life with regrets.
Why?
Because I just think that it's a negative way to look at life. Like, you shouldn't live with regret in life. You should just look at, like, the things that you benefited from in the process of you doing things. I don't think that you get anywhere from looking at things negatively from your experiences in life, whether it was good or bad. It's just going to help you to become better. So I think that everyone should just position their mind to think in that regard.
Why'd you get a tattoo?
I got tattoos because I like pain. I'm just kidding. No, I got tattoos because I just like putting things on my body that are significant to me.
Would you agree that your body is not yours?
What do you mean?
Like, it's God's body.
I agree with that.
So why would you mark your body?
Hey,
if it's not yours to mark.
You know what? You're right. It's not mine to mark, but I still chose to mark it anyways. And I hope that God can see that I didn't do it with negative intentions. And that I only got things that are meaningful towards my life.
What are some of the things that you got tattooed that are meaningful to you?
So, I got on my neck here, I got my parents' birthdays. I think that's meaningful because my parents raised me to be the man I am today. I got this tattoo right here because my aunt that passed away 2 days before my birthday loved Mickey. I got this tattoo right here because This represents Guyana. I'm half Guyanese.
Like, what is your culture?
So I'm Puerto Rican and Guyanese.
What are some traditions in your culture?
Well, if you're Guyanese, you like roti, chicken curry, you like all these things. You go to Jandi's, you wear saris. And I'm Puerto Rican, so if you're Puerto Rican, you have pollo guisado, you have arroz con pollo, you have you have carne guisado. You have like all these like different like things and cultures that you eat. And which is why I got actually this one tattooed on me, which is my biggest piece, which is my dad's mom that passed away, and it's represent Puerto Rico. So I got that. I only have meaningful things on my body. Like I don't get like skulls and things like that on my body. I just get things that represent things that are meaningful to me. And I do agree with you that you shouldn't mark your body.
Yeah.
Because it says in the Bible not to do this. It says in the Book of Leviticus, I believe.
Yeah.
So I agree with you there that.
What are you gonna do now?
I'm not gonna take them off. Man.
Yeah.
Like, I love my tattoos, but I don't think that.
You believe in repentance?
Define that.
Repent, feeling sorry for your sin, go to confession.
Yeah, I believe that.
You ever go to confession?
No, I don't.
Why?
I do tell God though, like things that I'm sorry for. Like I know that having sex before marriage is something that God does not abide to.
Why do you think God made it like that?
Because sex is a very important aspect of.
It unites two souls.
It unites two souls, and it's a very intimate thing. I think that God put that because the only reason that we should have sex is to create children. It's the only reason why sex was ever a thing. And now, today's society, sex is like just to have fun.
For pleasure.
For pleasure.
Wasn't meant for that.
And now we have all these things like condoms and all these things to prevent kids from happening, but that was never natural. God never intended for that to happen. He always wanted things to be natural and have an intimate process with your wife. And I agree that I don't do things in the way that, God traditionally says to do things. And I fall short to that.
Do you feel guilty at all?
No, I don't.
Why?
Because I think that society planted these things into my head of that's normal. So I never really looked at it in a way that was negative. I know that God says it's negative. And
why are you listening to the world instead of God?
That's a good question. I don't know. I understand that I shouldn't be doing that. And I fall short to that. And that I need to position my mind a little bit differently if I want to be a better example to God and for Him to pour more into me. And I realize that like those things are important, but I realize that when you do those things with a woman, she takes it more seriously than a man would. So like women are more emotionally involved in that process more than men are. Like men will do it and they won't care the next day about that woman. Like that's just how we are.
What is the difference between sex with men versus sex with women? Like
how we view things?
Yeah.
Like I think that guys just like as soon as they get the pleasure that they want, they don't care anymore. That's just how we are. Like we don't care after about like the whole pleasure side of things. And women on the other side is like
more emotional.
Yeah, they're emotional. They're like, oh, I want something to do with this guy. Like I want him to be there for me. I'm letting him into my body because I care about him and I want him to know that I love him or that I care about him. And that's the aspect that women do it from. I think that if a girl doesn't care about those things and she has a lot of problems that she is not addressing, and I think that the way that she goes about things and gets validation is by letting people into her on a intimate level. So I think that it's just different the way that we view things. Like there's this thing with guys called post-nut clarity, and after you get whatever you want, you kind of like think like, damn, should I be doing this? Like
what's wrong with me?
What's wrong with me? Like why did I do this? And you start having these thoughts of maybe this wasn't the best way of doing things. And then you do it again and you realize the same thing. Like, I've realized that over the last 3 years of my life that, like, having pointless sex is not beneficial to you long term. It just makes you lonely, in my experience, because you're having sex with all these women, but then none of them are being loyal to you. So like, what was the point of having sex with them? Instead of being in a relationship where a woman's loyal to you, she loves you, she cares about you, she's doing everything that she can to show you that she's there for you, and you're doing that in the process, I think that's a different experience. Like, you're doing something with someone that you love.
Yeah.
Versus just doing it because of she's sexy and I just want to have sex with her.
Talk about cryptocurrency. Do you like go into crypto at all?
I'm not really a big crypto guy now.
What do you invest in?
So I have a few different portfolios. I have a real estate portfolio that I have a lot of money invested into. And I have index funds that I'm also heavily invested into. I give about 30% of my income diversified into real estate and into crypto. And not crypto, sorry, index funds.
Index funds.
Yeah, I need to get into crypto. And that's what I invest a lot of my money into. I just don't know too much about that industry, so I can't really speak too much about it. But I do know that a lot of people are making a lot of money from it. So I know that it's a really good avenue to build wealth as well. And I know that the world is evolving to that currency as well, to accept those types of currency as transactions in the future.
Do you do stocks at all?
Like day trading?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm not really good at that stuff. But I need to get really good at it because I know that you can make a lot of money from it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you understand markets and stuff. Like, you can make a lot of money from it.
You think you need to go to school for that?
No. I think that you can learn online. And I think that you can learn online from people that are already successful. You just be careful about who you're taking advice from online because they could be faking it. So it's very important to understand that not everyone you see is in the position that you want to be in, and that people are actually good and some people that aren't good.
What's your opinion on gambling?
I'm not a gambler.
Why?
Because it's like a 50-50 chance. And I don't like putting my money into things that are 50-50, like gambling. Mm-hmm. Especially if it's like conditional on events and who gets knocked out or who wins a game. Like, that's all literally probability. I don't think that that's a really smart investment. But there's a lot of people that make a lot of money from it because they just understand the game. So hats off to those people. But like me personally, like I can't do that.
What is the biggest thing you struggle with on a daily basis?
I would say understanding my next goal.
How do you like make your goals?
I make my goals based off where I want to be financially. So if I want to add an additional $150,000 a month, then I know I need 8 people, or what the math on that is, like 8 or 9 people, to pay me $15,000 each. And I need to figure out what kind of offer I'm going to make in order to get to that goal, and what kind of audience can actually invest this type of money into paying me in order for me to hit my goal.
Is sleep important?
Of course.
Why?
I mean,
how many hours of sleep you get on a daily basis?
I get enough sleep. I get like 7-8 hours. I used to wake up at 5 a.m. every day.
Why?
Because I really wanted to grow and figure things out, so I knew I needed as much time as possible in the day.
Like, what was your routine when you woke up at 5 a.m.?
I wake up at 5. I was living in Daytona Beach. Wake up at 5, go to the gym, come back, eat. Then I would get ready for work. Then I would drive to the office, and then I would work from the morning till 3 o'clock in the day, because I was working really early. And then I would just end the day and go about my day after that. But I realized that I got a lot more done earlier in the day than other people. I think that it doesn't matter what time you wake up at, as long as you're making your day productive. Like, you can wake up at, I know a lot of people that wake up at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and they're still really successful. They just prioritize their time differently than most other people would that wake up later in the day.
What do you think the biggest thing in the next 5 years is going to be like a problem?
I think that AI is going to...
Let's talk about AI. That's a good topic.
Okay. I think that AI is going to replace a lot of people's jobs.
How?
Because a lot of people can be replaced in restaurants and fast food chains, and AI can produce a lot more things faster than we can. I think that a lot of jobs are going to be replaced, so if you aren't really that skillful, or you don't know how to utilize AI inside your business for other business owners...
So we need to adapt.
You need to adapt. And if you aren't adapting, you're just going to be placed with everyone else. Like, AI is literally growing rapidly. We have ChatGPT now.
Oh, yeah.
And even the guy that made it is scared of it because of how smart it is.
Yeah.
So I think that AI is going to really take a big pull on how we go about the world. Like, technology is always evolving. It's always going to be growing. and it's just going to replace a lot of jobs. That's why I think AI is going to happen. What happened with AI?
What jobs do you think AI can't replace? Whether that's like doctors, whether that's lawyers, whether that's like 9 to 5. What jobs can AI physically not replace?
I think like surgeons.
Yeah.
I don't think it can replace.
I mean, AI can also help surgeons. Like they have like virtual reality where they can see.
Yeah, I just don't think like AI like robots can like cut open somebody and like replace their organs. Yeah, we don't know, but like still like it's kind of scary. Like I would much rather trust like a professional human that has been doing it for 20 years rather than a robot that just came into the hospital like a few days ago.
You use AI in your businesses?
I do.
How?
For targeting, for Facebook ads. I use AI to know what interest and what things people are interested in. So if let's say there's like a service-based business and their business is roofing. Okay, what kind of people are looking for roofing? What's their age demographic? You ask the AI. The AI will tell you.
In seconds.
And it'll also tell you what other topics that they're interested in if they're looking at roofing. So it could really be beneficial, especially to advertisers if they're using it correctly. I also think that's very useful for e-commerce as well, because if you have an e-commerce business and you're selling bath products, it'll tell you whether men or women are more interested in it and what kind of interests they're more interested in.
AI can literally make you a business.
Yeah, it can. And AI can do a lot of things. Like, it can, mostly anything that you ask it to do, it can do it. Like, it can tell you what type of videos to make. It can tell you what type of content to make. It can tell you what types of topics the internet actually cares about to hear. And
so you have to use AI to your advantage.
Do. And you have to position yourself correctly with the things that people are actually interested in when you're asking AI certain questions. And a lot of people can be very lazy with AI as well. Like, they've asked very broad questions.
How do people falsely use AI? Use it in a bad way?
I think that people can use AI in a negative way whenever they are doing it with negative intentions. Like, AI images, like people can, or AI voices, they can create conversations with people.
That's scary.
Yeah, it is scary, because then they can basically say, like, anything you want them to say. And they can make music with famous artists and say that was their song. That's also very scary, because people don't know now, especially, if those are real songs
or it's AI generated.
If it's AI generated. Like, there's a few conversations online with Elon Musk and Andrew Tate that are speaking about multiple different subjects that are made up. Sometimes, not all of them, but some of them are made up. And people don't know the difference. They're just like, oh, he said this, he said that, and that's scary, because people...
He didn't say it.
He didn't say it. So, like, it just demonstrates the fact that what can they do with people that are upcoming, that are trying to make it. They can say a lot of negative things about you really easily.
Have you ever been bullied in your life?
No.
All your life, never been bullied?
Never been bullied. I think that, you know what my strategy was? My strategy was to become friends with the popular people that did bully other people. So
you, like, go with the bullies?
I didn't bully other people. I would just become friends with them, or I would avoid them.
So they don't bully you?
Yeah, so that they would say, like, things about me, like, all the time, because I'm a pretty short guy. So I would always get picked on for my height, but honestly, the way I earned respect was because I sold either food or candy in school, and everyone knew me for that guy, and they always wanted to hook up for everything that I was selling, so they become friends with me naturally.
You had value to offer.
I had value to offer.
Why is it important to be valuable?
It's important to be valuable because that's the world's currency, is by value and how much you can offer somebody, which is why people even hire people in the first place, because of how valuable you are. So that's why value is important in today's society, especially. Like, you need to have something to offer. If you don't, especially as a guy, if you're just going through the world and you're playing video games and you have nothing to offer to anybody, then you're not going to be happy with yourself. You're just going to see everything as a negative view on the world and not listen to anybody. And I think that you need to have value. And I don't think, personally, that... I think the only thing that I'd want a woman to offer to me, in my personal view, this doesn't go to all women, it's just my personal view, is I just want loyalty. And I want...
Why is loyalty important to you?
Because you don't want a woman that cheats on you. You don't want that. I think that's disgusting. And I don't view that as something that I would want in my life. Like, if you're coming to attentions of only loving me conditionally versus loving me when things are good or bad, then that's not the woman I would want. And I just think that women, that's the most important thing that a woman could offer to me in terms of value.
How do you know if the one is the one?
You don't know. That's the thing. I think that it just comes with time. Like, you just learn things about your girl over time, and you can see her true colors in hard situations. And if she still sticks with you through those situations, then she really loves you.
Mm-hmm.
And she's really going to stand for you. And I think that's what every guy wants. I think that's what every guy wants from a woman. It's just straight up loyalty, not cheating, not wanting to go to the club, not wanting to show off your body on social media, because those things just attract other men to see you in a sexual way.
Mm-hmm.
When you should be only showing that sexual side of you to the man that you're with. And some guys may like the girl showing off. And if that's what you like, that's what you like. But I think in general, most men just want their woman to be only showing them the things that they want to be showing. Most men only want women to show themselves to them, not anyone else. That's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, if everyone has something, it's not valuable, is it?
What do you mean?
Like, if everyone sees it online, you know?
Yeah, it just becomes less valuable. Like, you want the woman with curves, and that's beautiful, and that's loyal to you, to only show you those things and not to the world. Because you know that, as a guy, if another girl was showing that off and she was in a relationship, you think of her as in a certain type of way, and you would see her in a sexual light, which I don't think that her boyfriend would or her husband would particularly want from the world to see his wife or girlfriend as.
How important is trust in a relationship? Whether that's like blindly trusting, whether that's like just trusting someone.
It's important because your relationship is not going to grow without trust. Regardless of how hard the situation is, whether good or bad, and you lose trust because something didn't go in your way, then you can always rebuild it. I think the only thing that I wouldn't trust is if a woman cheated on me.
That's it.
Thank you. I wouldn't trust a woman that ever cheated on me ever again. I would trust her if she lied to me, then she would need to build my trust back. Or if something didn't go as planned and she lied about her plans, or she didn't know something was going to happen and she didn't tell me the truth from the beginning, then that would affect my relationship with her.
What do you do when a girl lies to you?
Honestly, I just ignore them. If she lies to me, I ignore them.
Why?
Because she's not going to learn. She's going to think that she can just keep doing that to you if you don't allow her to feel the emotion of why it's a bad thing to do. If you're telling me that I would never allow my girl to be put in a situation, and if she wants to do these things, then she can do that, just not with me. But I don't want my woman to go to the club without me, because I know how guys think when they go to the club.
Yeah.
If you go to the club, if my girl goes to the club with a bunch of single girls, those single girls are going to attract dudes, and those dudes are going to want something to do with my woman. And I wouldn't want to put my woman in that position.
You wouldn't want to put your woman in danger.
I wouldn't want to put her in danger. I wouldn't want her to put her in that position. I already know how guys think. And if something happened in the club and I don't know about it and then I find out somewhere else, you lose my trust.
Yeah.
So why would you want to be in that position anyways? So that's why trust is important, because you don't have a relationship without trust.
What else is important in a relationship?
I would just say communication. Communication is big. Because if you can't get your thoughts across effectively without that person getting angry or understanding, then you're going to have a lot of problems long term in your relationship. So, and that goes for women and business. You can relate this to anything. If you can't get your thoughts across in a way for people to understand, then no one is going to listen, and no one is going to understand why it's important to you in order for them to move forward with your choice or what you're recommending, whether that's with a woman or with business.
What advice do you give to people who go through heartbreaks?
Use that energy to be better.
How?
Just convert that to focusing on yourself, whether that's physically, whether that's mentally, whether that's financially. Just convert that energy. Don't dwell over. It's okay to be sad, but just don't dwell over a woman for too long, because it's not going to help you long term. The only thing that you can do in that position is
succeed.
Yeah, is to convert that energy to something that's going to build you to be better. That's all you can do with a heartbreak.
Why do you think the past is important?
Because the past is what builds you to be better or worse, depending on who you are and how you want to convert that. The past is what allows you to have experiences to be better moving forward.
It makes you the man you are today.
I would not be where I am today if I did not have all the negative things that happened to me in my life and the positive things that happened to me in my life. So that's why I think that regardless of whatever you go through, that it could be used to be very beneficial to you. That's what I think.
What's something like you wish somebody's always done for you?
That someone's always done for me?
Yeah, like something you miss in your life.
Miss?
Yeah.
I wish that I would have had these lessons earlier on in my life.
You think you were ready back then?
No, and I don't think I was ready because I don't think that God wanted me to be in a position to learn those things right there and then.
The right place and right time.
Yeah. I don't think that, and that's why, you ask if I wish, but honestly, I think that everything played out the way it was supposed to play out in my life. And I know that there's a lot of people that are younger than me and older than me that are more successful than me in financial terms. But I think that these things are progressing in my life the way it is because of the way that God wanted things to happen. And God wanted things to happen differently for other people. And no matter how hard you work or how hard you try, I think that things are always meant for you to learn from them in the way that God positioned them to be in your life.
Do you ever distract yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Like what hobbies, stuff like that?
I play Fortnite a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I play Fortnite a lot whenever I want to distract myself from work. But sometimes I believe that if I just am done working for the day, that I could just play like 2 rounds.
Take a break.
And that's just me personally. Some people are just like, no, you got to go until you go to sleep. And some people live really good like that. I don't think that the word should be anything for people. I think that if it works for you, then do it. If it doesn't work for you, then don't do it.
How important is it to have a mentor?
Well, if you don't have a mentor, then you can't learn things faster. Like, you'll learn everything very slow. So you're not going to learn from their mistakes if you don't have the correct mentor in order to progress yourself further faster.
How do you know if it's the correct mentor?
Because they're in the position that you want to be in. But that's how you know they're the right mentor, because they're ahead of you and they're where you want to be. So that's why you should listen to them. But what about you? How about some mentors that you've had?
My brother.
Brother? Anybody else?
I mean, Akko, you. Like, it's really important to have mentors because you gotta learn what you want to do in life through these other people. You want to be like them, So it's important to have an open mind and always, try. Like we said earlier, if you're praying for something and not acting on your prayers, you're just being lazy.
Yeah.
And, being lazy, God doesn't like the lazy. He's gonna reward the people who, actually try, who put in the effort. Not the people who just pray for things and then basically, just not do anything.
Yeah, exactly. And you nailed it. And how old are you, Lambros?
20.
You're 20. See, I think that a lot of 20-year-olds your age are not thinking like this. So you just setting your mind in this frame from now is way better than most people that are double your age. And even people that are your age right now.
So what advice do you give to people my age?
Advice to people your age?
Should they go to school? Should they,
If you don't know what you want to do, then don't go to school. Try a bunch of different things before you go to school. I don't care if you just graduated from high school and your parents feel like, oh, you're not doing anything with your life. Well, if you're not doing anything with your life, then maybe you should go to school, because maybe you do need to be told what to do. But if you are willing to try different things from a very young age and figure things out from a very young age, then you're going to figure out what you want to do in life a lot faster, which is start your own business, be an engineer, be a painter. You can make a lot of money through a lot of different things.
Do you think it's important to love what you do?
I think that it is important to... Not really.
Why?
Because after a while you get bored of what you do because you loved it at the beginning.
Yeah, wouldn't you say if you love what you do, you're going to be better than the thing you don't want to do?
I mean, yeah, but passion only pays you so much. Someone that loves animals, if you love picking up animal shit and you love taking care of animals, you're not going to make a lot of money. But if that's what you love, then what you could do to make money off of that is make content and share with people. These are the best ways to take care of this type of animal. These are the best ways to take care of this type of animal. There's just abundant amount of ways to make money. People are just arrogant or lazy to learn how to make money from their profession or what they want to do.
Why is it important to have a high mindset,
A high mindset?
Yeah.
Because I think that this frequency of energy, whenever you do have a high mindset, is what allows you to move fast and make fast decisions and allows you to grow faster.
Do you forgive people?
All the time.
Why do you forgive?
Because you can't move forward if you don't forgive people.
After you forgive, do you, make different steps so it doesn't happen again?
I just don't. I kind of distance myself from people that have done me dirty. Because if I have to forgive you, that means that you probably done something to do me wrong. And I just distance myself from you. I don't stay close friends with you after that. And
Do you have a strike system? Three strikes, you're out. Just one time?
It takes one time for you to really do something that,
Oops.
to do something that really betrays me. And I think that...
Why is it bad to have negative people in your life? Hang around with toxic people?
Well, I think you just kind of answered it just by asking that question. Because, that's how you're going to think. You're just going to think everything is against you and toxic and negative, and you're never going to think about anything in a positive light. When instead, something bad could happen to me, or something bad could happen to someone that I'm surrounded around, and I could be like, hey, this happened to you for a reason. Now you need to learn from it and move forward.
Not dwell on the past.
You can have someone like me, or you can have someone that's like, hey, you should focus on that and fuck that person up, or do all these things that are not going to help you to move forward.
What does friendship mean to you? How do you be a good friend?
By wanting the best for somebody, and if they have a problem, not telling them to dwell on the problems and tell them to grow from their problems. I think that's being a really good friend, because you can learn a lot more than someone that just stays focused on the problem rather than moving on and finding a solution towards your friend that is in a very bad place or in a good place.
What do you do when you make a mistake?
I recognize it and learn from the situation of how I could have dealt with it better in the future. So if it does happen again, what would I do in this instance?
Learn from your mistakes.
And I'm really good with, with constructive criticism. I'm really good with that.
You don't like it when people lie to you?
No. I like it when people tell me
the truth.
How bad or how good I am.
Why?
Because how else am I going to get better if I don't know what I'm doing right or doing wrong?
It doesn't hurt your feelings?
No, it doesn't hurt my feelings. You're better than me in this area, and I probably suck in this area, and I'm going to listen to you. So I'm really good when it comes to listening to things like that.
What's your biggest lesson that you've learned?
And throughout my career?
Throughout your whole entire life.
Be very aware of what you're listening to and who comes in your life, because those things are going to dictate your future. So I understand that the people that I talk to on a regular basis, if they're talking to me, like I said before, about their successes and goals, I'm going to be like, damn, I want to grow. And I think that that's the most important thing I learned along my journey, especially in the really dark times of owning your own business, because this shit is hard to have your own business. It's not easy. And if you can relate to people that have been in the same position as you and help them to push forward or to listen and improve yourself, then you're going to do very, very well.
How many businesses do you have?
I only have one.
What is it?
It's just... it's consulting businesses and building up their offers, and then also scaling businesses. So I guess I have two different offers in one business.
What is scaling?
Scaling is growing a business from wherever they're at to wherever they want to be. So let's say the business is at $700,000 a year, and they want to grow to $2 million a year. Then they need to scale their operation, hire more people, invest more money into ad spend, invest more money into creatives, invest more money into their automations and systems, in order to make sure that their business progresses in the green. So make sure that the business is actually collecting cash.
What advice do you give to the youth?
Listen, your friends that you have right now
are
not gonna last. And stop wasting your time talking to people that are just talking about things that are not gonna be beneficial for your future, And instead, what you should be doing is talking to, if they're not trying to talk to you about growing and conquering and earning money, and they're just talking to you about drinking, going to clubs, and taking drugs, those are not your friends. Those people are just going to drag you down. And if you're vaping, because I used to vape, I would stop doing that. It fucks up your brain.
How?
Excuse me. Because you're taking in a lot of chemicals that are not meant for your brain. And I think that...
What do you say to, like, get out of addiction?
Just distract yourself with things that are that will stimulate your mind as much as nicotine does, or weed, or whatever drug consumption you're doing. There's a lot of other ways to drive your energy into things that are way more better than those things. So that's what I would do if I was young. I would just be very careful, and I was always very careful about the friends that I had. I always had small groups of friends. Never really gave my energy to many different people, and I would just be aware of the things that you're taking in. And that's it.
Even social media?
Even social media. What you're watching, what you're absorbing. I'd be aware of all that.
Josh Ocasio, thank you very much.
Thank you, bro.